In memory of who?
Carlos Potato Valdez. You want to start doing that?
I've already started because I wanted to catch a drum. Hi, I love you.
You know what? I'm beginning to suspect you like one of these great con women.
Who, me?
Ooh, so sometimes you say to me, well, we'll start filming in a minute.
Yes.
And let me sit here because what I'm trying to do with the bongos is just simply, you know, settle into a little mood.
Right.
And the bongos is something, as you know, people used to give to their kids, or used to. Well, yeah, they used to give to their kids for Christmas.
Well, yes, traps and bongos, but people liked them. I mean, people, you know, we thought, it was a Desi Arnaz and, you know, people hit the bongos. We thought that was legitimate.
Babaloo!
No, don't go there. No. How he dared to do that. Moving right along.
The rumor is
if you knew the history,
you
don't evoke that.
Well, the rumor is that Desi Arnaz suffered the fate he suffered because he was singing a religious song about Babaloo, God of the world, Babaloo Aye.
Yes.
He was singing a song in nightclubs, and they thought that was blasphemous.
Yes.
So his ass was axed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm. But Shackles Across Time.
All right. We're on chapter 7 of Shackles Across Time. This book right here. And I would like to thank all of you for saying to me, stop reading that book so you could buy it. Well, I'm not going to stop reading it. I'm going to keep on reading it even if you buy it. So there, take that.
There you go. Yes, please.
Where was I?
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7.
I'm looking forward to it.
Keep me on track here.
Yes.
It's a hot day.
Yes, it is.
Chester Simmons is meeting their family who have invited him to dinner. And here he is at dinner with these people. Cornish rock hens, wild rice, asparagus, a wonderfully tasty salad. We grow these greens in the backyard. A beautifully complementary French wine, cognac, and brandy with grilled cherries for dessert. Damn.
My goodness gracious.
What the hell? The way I see it, if both of us are working our buns off to try to live a good life, why not start with the kitchen?
Good.
Chester leaned back from the dinner table to gently study the Johnson family. Frank Johnson, professor, African-American history specialist, 40-some years old, down-to-earth, hip, warm-hearted. Dr. Mary Quist Johnson, ethnomusicologist, gracious, lovely, full of wit and sauce, 40 years young. Donald Johnson, the 18-year-old budding novelist, was fond of Scotch whisky and esoteric plots, already lost in the magic world of the novel.
Yes.
Kojo Johnson, martial artist, community activist, 17 years old. All African Americans are black belts, whether they know it or not. And the daughter, Tabula, a lovely name, a beautiful picture of her on the wall. Where was she? Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Quist Johnson. Oh, please, Mr. Simmons, we're at home. You're at home. We're playing old Frank and Mary here. Well, that makes me Chester. Great. They shared a table loaded with good humor, cheered on by the pleasant afterglow of excellent food, wine, and cognac. Well, all I can say is thank you. Thank you for inviting me to dinner, or as the old toast goes, thank the Lord and bless the cook for all I ate and the rest I took. They laughed on the line for a few hearty seconds before Kojo cut in. It would be great to have you come to dinner more often. Maybe we could persuade Dad to go into his gourmet bag a little bit more often.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Quist Johnson held a glass up for a toast. I'll second that any day.
Mm-hmm.
They sipped their drinks, feeling cheerful, pleased with each other's company. After a few more minutes of casual chit-chat, Chester was surprised to see the boys get up and begin to clear the table.
Well,
Whoa! Seeing is believing.
mm-hmm.
A couple of teenagers, boys, clearing the table. You took surreptitious note of the time. 7:30 p.m., time to split. What time did I tell Alan to pick me up? 8:39. Chester, will you join us out on the deck? Sometimes we call it the porch. My pleasure. They took their drinks and strolled out onto the porch. Chester soaked in the view, the sun slowly dipping behind the distant mountains, a pine forest carpeting the valley below them. He settled into a cushioned deck chair, feeling at ease for the first time in days. They exchanged smiles. There was no need to comment on the obvious. This is where we usually end our days. I couldn't imagine a better place. They were silent for a few long moments. The mood was broken by Donald, the budding novelist. Sorry to disturb you guys, but I just wanted to thank Mr. Simmons for the great advice he given me this evening. I intend to make good use of it. Appreciate you saying that, Donald, I really do. Meanwhile, as you advised, I'm off to do my daily pages. I'm looking forward to reading your latest as soon as Dad finishes it. Kojo joins his brother. Yeah, me too. Chester found himself unsubconsciously nodding his pleasure at seeing the two boys kiss their parents and go on about their business. This was definitely not the dysfunctional African-American family that the mainstream media was so fond of glorifying. Now, where's the daughter? Where's Tabula? You have two beautiful sons. The parents literally glowed with pride. Yeah, they're great guys. Hard to believe they belong to us. Chester felt like asking about the daughter, but censored himself. If they didn't mention her, then maybe I shouldn't either. Now then, Mr. Simmons, Chester to you, Mary. Yes, I forgot to be informal. It's so easy, you know. The two men exchanged conspiratorial winks. The lady of the house, after dinner cognacs, was tipsy. What was I about to say concerning your book? Yes. Chester sat up a bit, keenly interested in her opinion of his work. Well, first off, there's a great deal to be said about the work. I know I'm going to have to read it a couple more times to iron a few things out, but I can tell you this. The thing that really got to me during the first reading was this matter of the curse that's been playing on my mind quite a bit. Frank Johnson tilted a serious dollop of cognac into Chester's sniffler and hooked himself again. What is it, Mary? Or should I wait until you give me a chance to read the book? Chester, do you think it would spoil anything if I... No, I don't think so. Go right ahead. Mary Quist Johnson's eyes narrowed to slits, and her expression became hard and bitter. The scene takes place on the beach. A young man is being sold into slavery by his a young man is being sold into slavery by my great-great-great-great-grandfather. May I interrupt you? She didn't answer. She simply nodded, her eyes focused on a distant point. How did you find out about yourself, your relationship to the trader Quartet? Curiosity and research drove me to it. I think all African Americans should find out as much about themselves as possible. I did research. Okay, please go on. Okay. The young man's grandfather places a curse on the slave trader for selling his grandson. Frank Johnson, the African American history teacher, placed his glass on the nearby table and stared intently at his wife's profile. And what was the curse? From this time onward, I condemn every third child born in your family line to be afflicted by evil spirits deformed by nature, made to suffer for what you have done here today. The sun seemed to pause as it slid down behind the mountains. Frank Johnson attempted to lighten up the atmosphere. Oh, come on, Mary. Don't you think you're being a little melodramatic, a curse? Chester, it was a literary device, wasn't it? I mean, it isn't something she needs to take seriously, is it? Chester pursed his lips, wishing he could push the whole thing off to one side. Well, as you both know, writers are prone to use poetic license whenever it suits their purposes. In this instance, I have to say, I didn't use poetic license. Frank looked from one face to the other and back again. Whoa! Wait a minute here. Are you saying that this curse is real? Frank, to be honest with you, I can't say that it's real or not. I can only report what this guy in jail gave me. He was the third son in his family, and he never stopped telling me how messed up his life was, no matter how hard he tried to do the right thing. It's real. Mary spoke in a dull tone. It's real. Her husband stared at her sullen expression and tried to jolly her away from the negative. Mary, come on now. You're an ethnomusicologist, a scientist. Don't tell me you're going to take some kind of hearsay as serious evidence. It's true, Frank. It's true. Don't you understand? It's true. What the hell do you think is wrong with tabula?
Mm.
Chester was startled by the transformation that was happening. The woman suddenly screaming and the man staggered by her words. Frank, it's true, damn it. I know it's true. Even before I started doing research, I knew. Can you understand what I'm saying? I knew. Frank Johnson nestled his wife's head on his shoulder, comforting her. Chester felt awkward, out of place. He allowed them a few moments of comfort before he felt compelled to speak. Mary, you say you knew. How did you know? Frank gave her a napkin and wiped the sudden flow of tears away. She smiled at him and patted his cheek affectionately. Thanks, baby, I'm okay. How did I know? Well, it would be impossible to say exactly how I knew, but I began to suspect something strange was happening to my family years ago. Couldn't pin it down. I can't say that I could see a pattern happening, nothing quite like that, but there were things happening. Whatever happened to great-grandma's Clara's third son, the one that I found out that was born with the head of a fish? The two men recoiled from the image that flashed through their minds. Who was the man, the third son of my grandfather, Milton, who castrated himself? Can you understand what I'm saying? These are the things that our family has never talked about openly. You mentioned your daughter, Tabula. Chester felt a sympathetic pain for them as he watched their heads droop. The man spoke in the saddest voice Chester had ever heard. Tabula, our daughter, is a nymphomaniac. A nymphomaniac? It sounded to his ears like a medieval disease, like leprosy or St. Vitus's dance, a curse. Are you absolutely sure? Mary Quist Johnson sipped her drink and spoke with a bitter twist in her mouth. Yep. A certified 100% nymphomaniac. We had her checked out by one of the best authorities on this problem, a Norwegian shrink. He validated our worst suspicions. Frank Johnson turned to him suddenly, excited by the idea. Chester, you've got to come to the reunion in Chicago. Oh yes, you've got to be there. Mary seconded the idea, reading her husband's vibe. Reunion? I don't understand. Mary Quist Johnson began to blurt out the details. It'll be July 4th, 5th, and 6th. It'll be well worth your while, I can assure you. Chester thumbed through his mental Rolodex. I'll be in Atlanta on the 5th. I could fly to Chicago. Well, I think I could manage it. They were suddenly halfway back to the pleasant vibes that preceded the disclosure of the terms of the curse. Mary, Frank, I don't want to belabor your heads with this, but have you guys checked with other couples, other descendants, about their family history, stuff like that? Chester, we don't know each other. That's the point of the reunion. When the brother in Chicago contacted me, I was stunned. Of course I knew there was some Corte descendants in the States, but I didn't know where. In a way, I didn't want to know. It was a denial mode thing, I guess. We've spoken on the phone, but I haven't asked how many children they have, if anything is wrong with any of them, or any of that. The front door chimed, startling. He checked his watch. 9:15. Alan Rich. Time to get back on the track. Okay, that's going to take us into chapter 8, which I am not going to read forthwith.
All right. All right.
Robert Quinn jogged south on the lakefront toward the Drake Hotel sign, his head filled with things to do. July 2nd. The reunion is day after tomorrow. Thank the Lord for dear Mrs. Sims. Everything has been taken care of, Mr. Quinn, the hotel accommodations, etc., 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 etc. Jesse O. Simmons, the author of Odie, which dealt with the background of their family's history, was going to put in an appearance. Have to get a copy of his book to find out what his brother's talking about. A curse? Nobody ever talked to me about a curse. Nobody in Salt Lake City, Utah, at the Genealogical Institute had info about anything like that. Fantastic. The greatest collection of African American genealogical information rests securely in the vaults of the Church of the Latter-day Saints, Mormons, in Salt Lake City, Utah. And they can twist shit in any direction if they choose to do that. Hi there, stranger. Sally Bergman. I'm Swedish on both sides, but can't find anything to brag about the connections. That's typically Swedish, I think. Oh, hi, Sally. How's it going? Been missing you, guy. They're almost slowed to a walk. Well, you know how it is. You get busy, you know what I mean? They jogged away very slowly, trying to figure out what they want to do with each other. She knows I want to fuck her. There are a number of women I want to fuck. He knows that I want to fuck them. The vibe was so strange and strong. He felt slightly ill at ease jogging beside a white woman, a real white woman from Sweden ancestrally. Sexy. Wonder what part of her ancestor played in the slave trade. He saw a puzzled look leap into the woman's eyes as he turned to stare into her face. He made an abrupt cut away from her at the next light. See you later, Sally. Oh, yes, of course. See you tomorrow. He jogged through a section of side streets. Better be careful, or they'll call the cops. And then back onto the lakefront track. He couldn't really understand why he had felt the urge to jog away from the beautiful Swedish woman. Hard to put a lot of shit together. Is it because she's white? He didn't know what answers to supply to that question. He didn't know what answer to give to himself. She was definitely beautiful by anybody's standards, and definitely seductive. But was that supposed to be the catalyst for turning her off? He shook his head, loving the dilemma and the sweat. What the fuck? This makes life just that much more interesting. The lakefront scenes seemed to drip past him like the backdrop for the scenes in a movie. As he jogged, he turned to look at distant things on the lake's surface. Beautiful place. Nowhere else in the world I'd rather live, even if it does get cold as hell in the wintertime. The reunion. The agenda was set. They were going to become an extended family for real and trace their roots to their African sources. That is, those who hadn't already done that. That would occupy the first day. After that, they'd try to see what they could do in the business world. We ought to be able to put something together that would make us some money. a professor of African American history, his wife, an ethnomusicologist, an export-import couple, a couple of sick-ass entrepreneurs, us, the Quins. Yeah, we ought to be able to put something together to make us some money. After all, are we not the direct descendants of a businessman? The run was almost over, only 10 short blocks to go. 8 a.m., the sun was beginning to warm things up. God, I pray that Bella doesn't do anything too bizarre while these people are here. They had discussed the matter, minus Bella, in a family meeting. The boys, Kofi and Kwame, were in favor of keeping her away from whatever might be happening for the entire time of the reunion. Dad, Mom, look, it might sound callous, but think about it, please. Are we going to be thought of as the family with the village idiot or what? Yeah, Dad, Mom, think about it. Dinah, surprising Robert Quinn, had blistered their butts with a fierce counterattack. I can't believe I'd ever hear anything like this from two sons of mine. You're going to sit here and tell us that your sister should be hidden away somewhere and not be a part of this reunion because she's mentally ill? Kwame, I'm especially pissed with you, the sociologist in the family. I thought your thing was supposed to be the study of human relationships. Isn't your sister human? And Kofi, the sensitive musician. Where does this sensitivity start if not at home? You guys are incredible. Here we think we've raised you to have some kind of consciousness, and you come up with some junk like this. Bella is a part of our family, and she's going to be a part of whatever we do. Got that? Got that?
Okay.
Robert Quinn felt a sense of pride in what his wife had unleashed on their sons. After all, weren't they talking about the person who had been coaxed from a nude rooftop stroll 2 days ago? Bella, please come down. The neighbors will see you. Someone will call the police or the fire department. Are the neighbors more powerful than oobla-dee-da? That's what I don't like. You got a lot of people who eat corn, okay? You figure it for me. I've always felt that. What's the old saying? What's the old saying? Tell me, tell me, tell me. What's the old saying? Bella, please come in here, baby. Else we're going to have to call the police. Stop it, stop it. I can't think. You won't let me think, God damn it. What's the old saying? I can't remember. I used to know it. Everybody knew it. One of these days you'll see I've even started trying to become what I'm trying to become. You'll see. You'll see. She was finally coaxed inside by being told that her favorite teddy bear was lonely and needed her. Life with Bella, Quinn smiled bitterly, was life with Bella. Robert, we got to make sure that Bella takes her medication. Keep the girl in that zombie state so she won't mess with us, huh? What else can we do? Well, there's always the institution we talked about, that you talked about. I think we need to talk about it again. Francine Cole Qualls stared at the picture postcard with the white couple on it. She felt like laughing but couldn't bring herself to do it. Ma and Pa Kettle in Ghana. Oh well, they're wearing garments from Africa House. She looked up to wave at an acquaintance passing by. Friendly Augusta, the Garden City. Hot, humid, and friendly. June 30th, only days away from the reunion in Chicago. Taiwan Kahindi had thought up an unusual twist for not wanting to make the trip. What's this supposed to mean? An annual gathering for ex-slave traders? Yeah, Mom, get real. How could anybody take pride in being a descendant of a slave trader? Girls, it's not a matter of pride, it's a matter of history. Now, Francine, you know I'm on your side, you know that. But there are some things we do have to take into consideration. First off, in line with what the twins are talking about, you know the kind of stuff that some light-skinned African Americans still buy into, whether they're conscious or not. Cross it out. You know damn well we ain't into that bag. I didn't say we were, sweetheart. I'm just suggesting that we have a firm fix on our participation in this thing. I do have a firm fix on the situation. Number one, I just happen to be a direct descendant of an important historical figure, for better or worse. I think that bears some looking into. Number two, I can tell you right now, business is definitely going to pick up as a result of the publicity we're going to receive. You can make book on it. Like I said, honey, we should have a focus. Who knows, Brother Quinn and his wife might be into something fuzzy, you know what I mean? I do know what you mean, and it's quite unlikely. I checked the Better Business Bureau in Washington concerning Quinn Products and Company. They're solvent and legit, clean as a whistle, but I can appreciate your caution. Francine, cold quarrel, settled back in her office chair and stared at the cover of Cecil Simmons' book, Odie. Francine, this is Robert Quinn. Dinah was becoming a neighbor by phone. Have you and your husband read Odie yet? No, you haven't? Please read it. It's got to be required reading for us Quartet people. Why should I read a book that tells me that my son is cursed? She drummed her fingers on the edge of the desk for a few nervous moments before picking the book up. Oh, well, let's see what Mr. Simmons has to say. Tabula pretended that the man on top of her was pleasing her by moaning periodically. She could tell that he had finished, but he didn't want to get up immediately. That's one of the reasons she liked older men sexually, because they made a greater effort to please her than the younger ones. A few minutes later, he gently pecked at her eyes, her cheeks, her lips, her neck, and rolled smoothly off of her body. You want some more? He whispered in her ear. You got any more? She answered. The muscle-bound man, who had been sitting in a chair beside the bed, watching their sex act with a greedy expression on his face, nodded when given the signal and replaced his partner between her open legs. She could tell from the first movements he made inside of her that he was a body thumper, one of those macho males who wasn't satisfied until they had her breasts jiggling and the butter around her thighs and buttocks churning with his motions. She went with his flow. It was all good, all exciting, all sex. Yeah, that's what she wanted, as much as often as possible. How about it, baby? Is it good? Is it good? She put on her opaque expression as she stared into his feverish eyes. Is what good? She asked him. She knew her response would drive him on, force him to thrust deeper and harder, and it did. Bella slowly moved to the edge of the bed and sat up in the dimly lit room. She cocked her head to the left and then to the right, listening carefully to every word being said to her. One at a time, please. One at a time. I can't listen to both of you at the same time. You want me to do this? You want me to do that? You think I made of rubber? Think I can be stretched both ways at the same time? Is that what you think? Well, I can't be stretched in both directions at the same time. Okay. Because you can't make me do anything I don't want to do. Leave me alone. God damn it, I want all of you to go away. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Fear of the beings haunted her, drove her to dive onto the floor and hide under her bed. She bumped her head and screamed with pain. A moment later, Robert and Dinah were knocking anxiously on her bedroom door. Bella, you all right? Bella, open the door, open the door. Kofi and Kwame, dazed and sleepy, appeared in the doorway of their bedroom. What's up? An emotional bolt of electricity shot through the people gathered in the hallway with Bella's hair-tingling scream. Robert Quinn slammed his shoulder against the door and followed it with a strong right foot kick. The lock splintered from the door frame as they rushed into the room. Bella, are you all right? All their eyes jammed into place on the open window before they began to search her room. Kwame pulled his sister gently from her hiding place, crying. When Robert Quinn hugged his daughter His wife and sons joined him in a joint embrace. Dad, Mom, they wanted to kill me. They were angry because I wouldn't obey them. They who? Kofi asked, glancing from the open window to his sister's tear-streaked face. Dinah Quinn gave Kofi a conspiring wink and motioned for the sons to leave the room. Bella, it's all right, dear, her mother whispered soothingly. It's all right now. We're not going to let them bother you. Robert, why don't you get one of Bella's pills and a glass of water? Their son shuffled off. The husband hurried to get the pills and water. Dinah Quinn led her daughter back to her bed, sat on the edge with her arms around her shoulders. Bella, please, don't worry about them anymore. They're gone. Here, I'll lower the window so they can't get back in. She was stunned to hear her daughter's voice. It sounded like a man speaking. That's the end of chapter 8.
Whoa. Woo.
It's beginning to get a little bit deep here, I think.
Yes, it is.
Well, we will continue on chapter 9 tomorrow.
Why, thank you, Odie Hawkins.
What was that, chapter 7 or 8? Yeah.
7 and 8.
You know, this funny thing, I'm not trying to make anything comical out of schizophrenia or make anything sensational or, you know, splashy. But after having gone through schizophrenia with her daughter, I can tell you that one of the things that happens is that you begin to become a little crazy yourself, because otherwise, let me put it this way. A good friend of mine said, I have never seen a shrink who was not crazy. Why is that? I'm thinking. In order to deal with the madness, you have to be able to get inside it a little bit. And if you're incapable of it, and you just want to stand back and say, okay, be well, be strong, resist all the demonic forces inside of you, it won't work. You have to go a little bit inside of the madness that they're experiencing. Somebody called it demonic control, demonic devils, demons. In this case, I'm copying a plea for more sympathetic understanding for people with schizophrenia. It could happen to anybody, so far as I know. I'm not a shrink, I'm not a healthcare professional or anything, but we know many people, especially if you write. I've known many writers who are at least half crazy anyway. I know myself pretty well, and I do know that I'm half crazy. But
as you point out in your writing workshops, that
you need to be a little schizophrenic to write. Otherwise, you won't be able to see your characters or get inside of your characters. And some of them might not be like you. So that schizophrenia, as I understand it, means split personalities. So you need to split off. But when it goes too far, then you have a problem. And that's where we are at this point.
Certainly.
I didn't mean to stop you from breathing hard, but I can see over there holding
waiting
your breath.
To exhale. Yes.
Let's get to the end of this chapter before she begins to
hyperventilate. Okay.
It is a hot day too.
I know. I think I have my water here though, so I'll have that. But again, thank you for reading Shackles Across Time, and it can be purchased on Author House, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore. Just go in and say, I want a copy of Shackles Across Time by Odie Hawkins. You can see other books by Odie on www.odiehawkins.com, his website. Also on the author's page on Amazon. And if you like, this week on Showtime, There's a documentary where he has a cameo appearance called
Burn, M.F. Burn. MFing Burn.
Nothing Bad Burn. Okay. And you can Google Odie Hawkins.
It's 30 seconds.
A cameo.
Yeah, somebody being given opportunity to offer opinion about what the LAPD was like back then.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you, and we will see you
Tomorrow, same time.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.